Odie believes the 50-year storm is coming next year.
50-year storm? What's that?
That's kind of a legend.
No, it's real. It's absolutely real. Everything moves in cycles. So twice a century, the ocean lets us know just how small we really are. A winter storm comes out of Antarctica, tearing up the Pacific. And it sends a huge swell north 2,000 miles. And when it hits Bell's Beach, it'll turn into the biggest surf this planet has ever seen, and I will be there.
So will I.
If you want the ultimate, you gotta be willing to pay the ultimate price.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Run It Back. I'm your host, Blair Bomber, and this episode is a good one. They're all good ones. This one's a really good one. Later on, I got a guest, my good buddy, Big Jake Rogers. He calls in, and we are talking the Buddy Cop Classic. Actually, I don't even know if I can call it a Buddy Cop Classic. I think it's a crime. It's a crime action thriller. Point Break. Directed by Catherine Bigelow. Starring Keanu Reeves in his first ever action role, and the GOAT, Sir Patrick Swayze. I mean, he's not knighted, but to me, if anyone is going to be an American dude getting knighted, it would have been, R.I.P. Patrick Swayze. All right, before I get into the episode, because I actually recorded about 15 minutes of my own. And I just didn't have it, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Sometimes it's just not there. And I needed help. I needed someone to come in here and pick me up, take this energy up to another level. And that's why I called Big Jake. And he came with it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. He came with it. And is the audio a little bit loud because we're so excited to talk to each other? Yes, it is. Is it a little bit obnoxious that we talk over each other all the time? Yeah, I'm sure, but we get better as it goes on. And the banter is always great, man, with the boys. It's the boys. And it's always going to be the boys. So don't ever confuse it for something else. What are Saturdays for? The boys. What's every day for? The boys. You got me? Cool. And before I get going with this, I want to do kind of a quick poll, I guess. Like, if you're listening to this podcast and you enjoy it, and you're a fan of me, if you're a fan of me, we're probably already friends. Like, I don't have any non-friend fans yet. That's where I'm at in my career, which is fine. But if you are anyone that listens to this podcast, please reach out to me in some form or another, like with whether it's Instagram, Snapchat, a text. Please don't call me. I don't fucking like when people call me unless I call them first. And just let me know how you're listening. If you're doing it on the podcast app, if you're doing it on SoundCloud. Tell me, and just give me something that you like, and then something that maybe you don't like, because I'm trying to build this brand up, and I want to know what you guys think. Even though there's probably only 6 of you out there, or 5 of you, or 2 of you, or 1 of you. One person reaches out with some constructive criticism. Or or fucking stroke me off. Give me a nice little tug and tell me how fucking great I am. I always will take that every single time. You know what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying? You guys get it. Okay, and a little, I kind of want to put this out there too. So what I've been doing basically, this has been me doing these solo and talking on my own, and I think I love doing it. I don't want to have to rely on guests to break down a movie. I want to be able to watch a movie and just go into it and talk and riff and bullshit and just go on any other number of ways I can go. And I like it. It helps me as a speaker, and it just helps me. I enjoy doing it. But I still want to have guests on here, but I don't want to pigeonhole them to a movie. So I'm thinking about having a subgenre, subtext, subcontextual, sub-Saharan Africa. No, I want to do a thing inside this where if I have a comic come on, or a friend come on, or anybody come on, we'll come on. We'll do like talking trash episode where we're talking shit or talking whatever, or we're just riffing, or we're just bullshitting, and people will come on here and we'll just talk about whatever for a short amount of time. We'll catch up with what's going on with me, what's going on with them, Maybe do a little pop culture thing here and there. I don't know if we'll go that way, but yeah, just talk about some current stuff. I don't know. I'm just trying to keep building this thing, and it started with me breaking down movies, and I'm gonna have guests come on and talk about movies still, and I'm gonna always keep breaking down film because it's what I love to do, and I love watching movies. I love talking about movies, and I love just going off the fucking rails with these things. You'll see when this episode with me and Big Jake, we go all over the place. So yeah, I mean, if that sounds like something kind of cool, maybe just throw me a little like, oh, hey, that might be cool. Maybe try that out. Because at this point, I'm not getting paid. I want to do whatever the fuck I want to do. There's no rules here. There's no rules. There's no rules. Put your shirt back on. There's one rule. You guys got me. All right, cool. Without further ado, let's get it going. Okay. It's me. It's Big Jake. It's Point Break. It's the GOAT. Sir Patrick Swayze. Let's get it going. In 3, 2, 1, we're going.
What's good, bro?
Dude, you just came in so hot. I love it.
Yeah, man. I'm hot.
Are you
I'm on fire right now. I'm on fire.
How caffeinated are you right now?
I had a 24-ounce cold brew coffee, so
Oh, okay, so you're like, that's like,
on my way from my workout, during which I had pre-workout. So, like, pretty caffeinated.
so you're really peaking right now.
Yeah, man.
All right, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was doing some time before I called you, and I was really struggling to put a sentence together for whatever reason. I think it was because I had like 6 beers last night.
Yeah.
And for some reason, and even though it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon over here, I'm still not all the way right. So I called you in to give me a little boost, which your energy is already like bringing me up a little bit. So I love that. Thank you for that.
That's what I'm here for.
But I'm talking Point Break, and I'm gonna start pretty. I'll start slow. So you remember the girl, the main chick in it, Lori Petty? Her name is Lori Petty, which I didn't even know until I googled it today. It's the short hair, the dark haired girl. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But is it me, or is she not like a dark haired Meg Ryan?
I guess I can see that. I don't know. I also haven't seen the movie in forever, so my exact memory is a little fuzzy.
Okay, dude, you know what? I'm going to need you to, if I'm going to bring you on the movie podcast, I need you to just fake that you saw the movie today. Otherwise, I'm just bringing in guys off the fucking,
Hear me out. You could give me more than like a couple hours heads up, and I could actually watch the movie.
Okay, well, now you're just making it about you.
But I remember a pretty good amount. It's a very. I mean, did you tell the story of? The first time I saw this movie, right?
When was that?
That was when we were moving me from Pullman to Cheney, and we got stuck on the side of the highway for 3 hours waiting for Cito to come pick us up, and that was the first time we watched the movie with Bodie in the kennel in the backseat.
Oh, God, that was the worst day
the tail
ever.
end of like the worst 36 hours of my life.
Yeah, that was brutal. That was like the same day that like my girlfriend dumped me over the phone, I think. That was my birthday. Yeah. That was the worst day ever.
Remember? And we drove back and forth from Pullman to like with that U-Haul at least like 3 times. Yeah,
we went down and back one too many, and we had to get out of that shitty. Actually, that place we had in Pullman up on a ridgeline. This is real inside baseball. But yeah, dude, that was the worst day. But do we watch it on a laptop? Is that what we watched it on?
Yeah, it was on your laptop in the front seat of your Beretta.
Oh, R.I.P. Beretta GT, man. That thing had some. Had some character to it, I think.
It did. It definitely had a lot of character. That's a good way to describe it.
I'll never forget that one time you were so wasted and I was DDing for you, and you were so drunk in the back of that car, and I was taking up that winding road to Churchill Downs, and I was taking this long winding turns. And in hindsight, why would I do that knowing that you're gonna puke in my car? But it was still super enjoyable for me.
It's kind of sick, but all right.
No, you're right. You're right. That's pretty terrible. That's some Dexter shit for sure.
Pretty messed up, but yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna throw some stuff at you real quick because this is the kind of thing that I think is funny about this movie. Is I like to look at like the what ifs, like people who almost got cast in certain roles. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit you with a couple, and I want you to tell me which one you think would have been the best what if. Okay.
All right.
So Patrick Swayze originally read for Johnny Utah.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, he didn't get it, obviously.
Obviously.
Charlie Sheen,
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, also considered for the role of Johnny Utah. Is there any world in which this movie is better with somebody else playing Johnny Utah?
See, I think Keanu is perfect for it because if he's an FBI agent, right?
Right, yeah. Ex-Ohio State quarterback
Right.
Johnny Utah. Don't ever forget.
So if you're an FBI agent, he's got to kind of be like the straight guy, you know what I'm saying? And I buy Keanu a lot more in that role than I would like Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen doesn't look like a fucking quarterback. And
Yeah, but
who's the other guy? Johnny
Ricky
Depp. Is John
Ricky
Russell
Vaughn,
like
though,
Johnny
man.
Depp as the quarterback? Fuck out of here.
Okay, all right. So you think who would have been
Like,
better?
Swayze has like some sunshine from Remember the Titans vibes. I could buy that, but I feel like you get more of like the straight guy from Keanu, which is like what I expect out of an FBI agent, right?
Yeah, and I touched on this before you got on here, but I feel like one of my favorite parts about Swayze in this character is I feel like this character is not too far off from who Swayze really was.
Exactly.
Like a little bit, like he was definitely doing some chanting and like talking to the waves type guy.
For sure. Also, is Keanu Reeves like just a great movie quarterback or what? Like, can we establish that between this and The Replacements?
Okay, so that was my other theory I had. I have a theory. It's like, okay, this is in an alternate universe. This is either Johnny Utah is Joe. Is it Joe Falco?
Joe Falco.
He is Joe Falco. So this is what happens. He becomes
Wait,
an
no,
FBI.
it's not Joe Falco, is it?
What's his first name? It's something
You're thinking
Falco.
you're thinking of Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
right?
but Falco is the last
Shane-
name of it.
Shane
Shane
Falco.
Falco.
That's
Joe.
what it is.
That was way too white to be Joe Falco.
I mean,
You just jumble up
I-
Flacco's name, I
for
guess.
sure. Yeah, it's just Joe Flacco's name.
You just jumbled up a little bit.
You literally switched 2 letters, yeah.
All right, so yeah, okay. So here's my thing. Either it's Keanu Reeves as he's both guys. I feel like in some weird alternate universe, Johnny Utah actually stops becoming an FBI agent and then refines his love for football and becomes Shane Falco, which I think would be kind of cool. That's half believable. What's more believable, that or this is a prequel to John Wick?
Prequel to John Wick, I think, is more believable, weirdly enough, because he's actually I can't remember which school Shane Falco went to off the top of my head, but they mention it in the other story. So he would have had to completely reinvent his identity, right, and then re-enroll in college to go play college football all over again.
No.
He played junior college.
He already played college football. I'm pretty sure he was at Ohio State as
I know,
the
but
replacement. No, the replacements. I'm pretty sure that character was from Ohio State as well.
I think he was.
I thought that
was it
lined
Ohio
up.
State? That might be right.
I'm
I just know he choked in the Sugar Bowl. That's all. I fucking love that movie. I just love Keanu. I'll be honest. I'm a big Keanu guy.
It's hard not to be because even though, like, I remember like in film school and like theater school. Right? I think you're with me. No, it was our theater class we had at Washington State where that guy just opened his opening monologue just shitting on Keanu Reeves, and we were like really like we're like, dude, whoa, why are you taking out our guy right now? That's Neo, man. What's wrong with you?
So this in the parking lot if you want.
You want to fight me right now, bro? Because I'm pretty upset with you at the moment. But the gunplay, the fact that he kind of loses his mind, and the chase scene, very good. By the way, underrated foot race foot chase scene in this movie when they're running through like the back streets of LA.
Yeah, I feel like all of like the action sequences in it are really good. Really good.
Well, what I didn't realize that Catherine Bigelow directed this. She did Zero Dark 30. And her husband is James Cameron. And he rewrote this script with her. But then he didn't. Yeah, so it was two other. One guy came up with the premise. One guy had the premise of like,
so James Cameron also worked on the script.
That's what I'm saying. So like, what happened is this dude came up with the idea of having an FBI agent infiltrate a gang of surfers. Pretty dope premise.
Yeah, if you can make it work, for sure.
Right. And then another guy was hired to write the script. And then Catherine Bigelow and her husband James Cameron wrote the final draft together.
That's a pretty cool fun fact, I feel like. That's a big name.
It's kind of wild to think about because and like he wasn't credited on it because he had some beef with the Writers Guild. I was doing a little bit of a deep dive on this, but it makes a lot of sense because
all the way down the rabbit hole.
It's pretty easy to find. IMDb is pretty good at this shit.
Okay.
But what's wild is he didn't get any credit for it, right? But it makes a lot of sense because this is like it's a buddy cop film, but if you look at the way it's written, everything from Gary Busey to it's like the cop side of it is actually really well done. Because who's the dude who was in he's the doctor in Scrubs that plays like
I was gonna say that. I fucking love that guy. I don't know his name, but I love that he's in it. Him and Gary Busey together are incredible.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you're young, dumb, and full of cum. What a great.
You there?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing though about. I just feel like it was for. It shouldn't have worked. It shouldn't have worked the way it did. I feel like because it's Keanu Reeves.
I feel like it's so well done that it does.
Well, yeah, and so many kind of a liability across the board if you think about it. Because this is Keanu Reeves' first action role.
Is it?
Yes, his first action movie he ever did was this movie, which is wild. It was his like coming out as like I'm an action guy, which is a little bit. If you ever talk over me again, I'm gonna fucking scream into this fucking phone. You understand me?
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
I feel like you and I are gonna be the only ones listening to this episode again, and only one of us is gonna do it. All right, but are you ready for this one? This is the thing I really wanted to get to. Because all the shit aside, I don't want to get too deep into like the way it was written. Because I'm trying to get away from like a lot of movie podcasts get really nerdy with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You want it to be fun to listen to, not like boring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't want to hear anybody.
You don't want to sound like a douche.
Yeah, I don't want to be the guy that says cinematography too many times.
Exactly.
Think about this. I don't know if I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to pitch this to you because I read this somewhere, and I don't know how I've never noticed this, or maybe I had. I just didn't talk about it to anybody. But this movie, right? Point Break heist. It's a FBI guy who infiltrates a criminal. You know, like kind of like a gang that's robbing people, right?
Yeah, banks mostly.
It had a remake in 2015, right? Which I refuse to believe ever actually existed.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Ed loved it, so that should tell you everything you need to know about that movie. It's awful.
Yeah, so it's just entertaining, and really that's about it.
Yeah, it's
a lot of action things.
At one point, they climb like a waterfall. I think, like,
yeah,
they climb like a sheer vertical rock face that happens to be wet with no ropes. Yeah, free solo. They're free soloing. I watched this video of that guy from Free Solo. He talks about all the movie rock climbing and breaks down how realistic it is, and he just shits on that one so hard.
That's awesome.
He's like, it's wet. What? You would never climb a wet anything. You'd be dead. You're not even get off the ground.
That's awesome.
Okay, so Point Break had a remake, whatever. No sequel, no like real sequel, unless you count the Fast and the Furious.
Whoa, hold on, let me think about that.
This is the Fast and the Furious.
You want to run me through that?
The Fast and the Furious is a literal remake of Point Break.
Yeah. I mean, I just needed to think about it for like 2 seconds, but yeah, you're right. It is.
Think about it.
They definitely just like updated it 20 years.
It totally lines up, and here's why.
Or
You
10
have
years,
an
I guess.
FBI agent who has to go undercover with a gang of adrenaline junkies.
Exactly.
But instead of skydiving and surfing, they're street racing.
Yeah, and instead of hijacking banks, they're armed robbery of semi-trucks.
Yeah, that's the thing that never really panned out for me. It doesn't really hold up with Fast and the Furious. The fact that they're robbing like flat screen TVs out of a truck, and that's supposed to be lucrative.
I mean, if you did it enough, right, it'd probably be pretty lucrative, but I mean, not enough to pay for how many cars they destroy.
Right, but then what I'm thinking about with we won't get too deep into Fast and the Furious, but Fast and the Furious,
especially the economics of it, yeah.
But Fast and the Furious, the level of difficulty they have to go to rob it doesn't like to have 3 cars that then you shoot. You basically just hijack a fast moving semi truck to steal TVs. Seems like way too high a risk as opposed to just running into a bank and in and out in a minute with masks on, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But
I guess that'd be less security would be the idea, but yeah, I'm with you.
But if you think about it, all the beats literally line up.
Yeah, they really do.
From him infiltrating, he falls in love with the girl who's also kind of inside, and then he
Paul Walker's got some Keanu vibes to him a little bit.
Dude, he totally and fucking Fast and the Furious was made a decade after this came out in 2001, I think it was, or 2000 when it came out. Dude, and every fucking beat, it's like he infiltrates the gang, becomes friends with them, and then he tries to arrest the other guys he thinks it is. Like, you know how like they try to arrest the other surfer gang in Point Break, and they're wrong.
Yeah, and then and then what's the guy's name in Fast and the Furious?
Johnny Tran or whatever his name
Johnny
is.
Tran.
What a stereotypical name for a Japanese street racer. Hey, what are we gonna name this guy? How about he's Asian? How about Tran? What's his first name? I don't know. So he's kind of an Asian American, right? How about Johnny? Okay, cool. Let's do that. Let's do that for sure.
Plus, Tran kind of sounds like transmission. You know, there's a lot of cars.
Yeah. Transmission, transgender. It totally matches up.
All right.
Both have things that we don't know about, okay? I don't know the ins and outs of either one, so it totally matches up. Talking about Johnny Tran and transmissions, not transgenders. I know much.
I actually took 2 years of auto mechanics in high school, so I know a little bit about transmissions.
Are you flexing on me right now, dude?
A little bit, slight flex.
Dude, that's a mid flex right now, and I don't know if
I've forgotten more about transmissions than you will ever know.
Oh, dude.
Literally.
I'm like so close to hanging up on you, it's not even funny. If you ever try and flex your transmission knowledge at me, I'll
Okay, hey. All right. So I had a random thought earlier, though, about this movie. Because we remember you texted me about Gary Busey, though, right? Is it, first of all, the thought was, this might be peak Gary Busey. Like, is there anything he's better in? Like, because I really can't think of it. And then I looked into it, right? And the only, like, thing of note he's been in since literally the turn of the millennia that I saw was he was on Grand Theft Auto Vice City as a character. And that's not it.
This is Pete Gary. Dude, he's so good at Utah, give me 2.
Then I went down the list, and here's the only things I'd heard of that he was in, really. Rookie of the Year. You're the one with the kid breaks his arm, pitcher for the Cubs. He's like the manager, right?
Yeah. Then he throws 105, the worst movie of all time. I gotcha.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, you would love that
2?
fucking movie. He was good in Predator 2. I stand by him in Predator 2.
He was good in Predator 2. That might be Pete Gary Busey. That was the only other thing I could come up with. He was in the original remake of A Star Is Born, apparently, but I haven't seen it. And then he was in Bonanza, which I also haven't seen. But those were both made in the 70s, so I'm going to cut myself a little slack there.
Hey, you know what, dude? I really want to take a moment and give you some credit for your deep dive on Gary Busey. I really appreciate that you took that time.
I just had to research it.
That's big, dude. You know what? I'm gonna give you a snap for that.
Appreciate you.
Dude, but think about it. Like, I can't get over this Fast and the Furious thing. It's driving me.
It really kind of ruins Fast and the Furious for me a little bit. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, dude, it ruins it, like, too. And I know that, like, the tropes are kind of, I mean, they're universal. Guy gets involved with the gang, and then he falls in love with the girl. Then he's conflicted. And then he has to choose between the girl and then his job, and then the guy, the guy he became close with, But like every single beat, all the way to somebody dies, somebody almost dies. Well, I mean, like, it's like if Fast and the Furious was R-rated, more people would have died, right? Like this one, this one's kind of a bloody movie. Like no one dies the whole movie, and then like 10 people die in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it gets ugly.
What?
I think Fast and the Furious could have benefited from some more people dying. Probably there'd be less sequels now.
Yeah, but I think if you ask the guys that did Fast and the Furious, I think they're probably proud that they've done this way because now they're making $1 billion a movie.
Oh, I'm sure they're psyched about it.
That's so annoying.
Talking about from my end.
Do you like the Fast and the Furious sequels? Well, that's our last thing we'll say about Fast and the Furious. Do you like that they're going to do 12 of these?
12 is it's a ridiculous number, but there's like they could cut out 2 out of the ones that already exist, and I'd be okay.
The fact that the main character died and they've done 4 movies since. It's pretty incredible.
Or how about they did an entire movie with a completely separate storyline that had nothing to do with anything?
Yeah, they
except for
took 2 side
characters. Yeah, side characters.
Took 2 side characters and then made a. I haven't seen that movie, but I kind of want to because that's everything I want in Fast and the Furious without all the bullshit. Like, don't tell me that Ludacris is a hacker and an excellent stunt driver and he can fight. You lost me.
For sure.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the stunts of this movie because they are actually I think they do a good job in Point Break of like they're grounded a little bit because I don't think people back in the 90s really knew a lot about extreme sports. We know more about it now because of Nitro Circus and fucking all that shit. We saw a lot of like how they do it, but like it is fairly believable. I think these guys in this world, they're surfers, they're skydivers. Nothing seems too far-fetched other than like look, here's my thing. The first 90% of the movie, everything kind of holds up, right? Yeah. Everything is pretty
it absolutely holds up for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that from the standpoint of like, I could see that being a real thing until the end when all of a sudden Johnny Utah jumps out of the plane with no chute.
Yeah, that's where you lose me.
You know what I'm saying?
That is where you. Yes, absolutely. You're right. 100%. I actually remember, like, I remember being 100% in on that movie, watching it on like an 18-inch laptop, like screen. Right, it was made in 1991. We were watching it in 2013 on an 18-inch laptop screen on the side of a highway, and I was 100% in on all of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, the cool thing is like sometimes when movies kind of go outside of their own world by like making a huge jump, they kind of almost set it up like that. Like, like when he jumped out of the plane, I wasn't like, "There's no way he would do that." I'm like, dude, he just jumped out of the plane with no chute. What is going on?
It's a very good metaphorical climax to the movie because it's like you do buy into it, but then as it kind of plays out, I'm like, all right, get the fuck out of here.
How would you rather go? You say, hold on.
What'd you say?
How would you rather go? Would you rather go out with 2 gunshots like Roach does, and where he dies on the after he deploys his chute? You know what I'm talking about?
No, but continue.
Well, you know how there was 2 guys, Swayze and the other guy, jump out of the plane at the very end when Utah goes shootless?
Actually, yeah. There's one more thing I wanted to bring up real quick.
Okay, go.
Anthony Kiedis, the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, is in this movie.
He makes a pretty good cameo.
Yeah.
He does kind of have a pretty lame way of dying, of getting caught though. Shooting himself in the foot, pretty fucking lame.
Pretty fucking lame, for sure. But I did not know he was in this movie until today. I was years old when I found out.
You didn't know that?
No.
Really? I knew that. I knew that for a while now.
Well, sick flex, bro.
It's clearly him. I mean, look at his face. I mean, they're not hiding his face. He's got a different hair, I guess, but it's definitely Anthony Kiedis. You should know that.
I should know that, and I do now.
Okay, another side thing that a little bit that just became a little bit not believable for me as of today was that scene when they raid the house and where Anthony Kiedis shoots himself in the foot and whatnot. Yeah. Well, when Keanu Reeves and the other guy have that lawnmower fight, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And the guy is just trying to shove Keanu Reeves' face into the blades.
Dude, yeah, but tell me that's not terrifying, like, in theory. Like,
it is terrifying, but if you watch him, Keanu Reeves puts his hands on the wheels of the lawnmower, and they just, both hands, like, slip, but his face doesn't move forward at all. Which, I have 2 conclusions from that. Either A, or it's a combination of the 2. A, the guy pushing him has the world's worst upper body strength.
Right.
Or Johnny Utah's core and neck strength are unrivaled.
Well, hear me out. Johnny Utah is a collegiate football star, right?
True.
It would make sense that his core strength would be pretty good. And for neck safety, you know, we do a ton of like neck exercises in football. You know, he probably does have an insanely strong neck.
Okay, I'm with you. Now, follow up to this is how that fight ends, which is Gary Busey running on, and in a fast acting smart move, he shoots the lawnmower instead of the guy who's trying to, you know what? And the thing is, I thought he came from the other, like he was shooting the lawnmower because like that's all he could see. But if you watch, he comes from behind both of them, had full view of the guy's back, and shot a pinpoint thing into the lawnmower to get it to start. Bold move, Gary Busey. Bold move.
Hell of a shot.
So that's almost less believable to me than jumping out with no chute.
Yeah. It's still jump out on an airplane without a parachute, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think they did it on MythBusters, actually. They broke this movie down on MythBusters and said that you could catch up with somebody and potentially strap yourself in. I mean, great circumstances, obviously, but that's definitely doable.
I mean, I guess it's reasonable to believe that an elite athlete like Johnny Utah would have some good grip strength, too. You know, on that same wavelength as earlier. Yeah,
but when you blow the knee out like that, I mean, that's gotta... He tore his ACL 5 different times in this movie. He's gonna need total reconstruction.
He's good. Yeah, microfracture surgery. Treatment.
What was the what's the name of the big guy that from Portland? That's terrible. Greg Oden. He got that Greg Oden in his knee.
Yeah.
All right. We'll end with this, which I think is one of the most it's been parodied. I think that's the only reason it's so funny was when the guys from Shaun of the Dead. No, it was Shaun of the Dead. No, it was the Simon Pegg movie with the British guys. Is it Shaun of the Dead? No, it's the
Shaun
other
of the
one.
Dead or Hot Fuzz?
Hot Fuzz. It was the only funny part of that whole movie is when his guy he wants to shoot his gun up in the air and unload his whole clip like Johnny Utah in Point Break when he's staring down Patrick Swayze.
Yes. That is an absolutely iconic scene.
No!
So great. So great.
Oh man.
Oh man. If people say Keanu can't act, unreal.
Dude, I was reading about just like a random thing about this movie, and apparently there's this like theater, this off Broadway show, where what they do is they do Point Break, but what they do is people come to the show and they do a quick audition of people for someone to play Johnny Utah.
Okay.
And they pick someone who's not an actor from the audience, and then they give him cue cards for the whole show. And they do a play of Point Break because they want to capture the essence of Johnny Utah and Keanu Reeves being such a bad actor.
Wow. That's some slander, bro.
How
dare they?
How disrespectful is that?
How disrespectful. That man is a national treasure.
And they just bring up like some dude named Ken. He's like,
Yeah.
Avayo con Dios. But he probably says it better than fucking Keanu Reeves. That's the worst acting of his entire career.
Vaya con Dios, brah.
Vayo con Dios, brah. He's, oh God.
I'm going to steal that. I'm going to start saying that, I think.
Never say. If you say it to me, you can only say that, I think, after like at least like 2 lines of coke and you're about to go dance. I think that's the only way that's allowed.
That would be...
All right, man. We did it. I'll talk to you later, though, okay?
All right, bro. Sounds good.
All right. Love you, dog. Later.
Love you too, bro.
Greggy! Greggy's home. Greggy's gonna shit his pants.